Welcome, PFL fight fans, to beautiful Orlando, Florida. The 2025 PFL World Tournament starts tonight. Yesterday on stage, we had the fighters weighing in, making it official. Everybody making weight, checking in, facing off, and getting a sense of exactly what to expect tonight.
On different sides of the globe, they've been preparing for this moment. The pressure of a single elimination tournament.
They carried me, and now it's my turn to carry them.
The tension of a massive main event between two former champions.
Постараюсь помучить его, помучить как можно дольше и жестче.
You're not torturing nobody. The hell wrong with you?
The Jamaican fighting to reclaim gold.
Oh, big shots in. And he's taken down.
And to show a nation's youth that when you dream big,
Work hard, never give up.
anything is possible.
The champion has been defeated! Mamma mia!
Against the Siberian, whose creativity has captivated the sport. Back to capture the glory from a decade ago. Different stories, the same goal.
Этот бой я собираюсь выиграть.
I'm taking this belt back to Jamaica.
One shot at greatness. Jackson versus Koreshkov.
The iconic Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida, hosting the first round of World Tournament action. Our main event tonight, Jason Jackson versus Andre Koreshkov, Jesus Pinedo, and Adam Boric in a featherweight co-main event. There's a look inside our studio here, taking center stage. The welterweight division, traditionally very deep and competitive in the PFL, and the featherweights with a couple of returning champions to be featured. Things are a little bit different this year in the PFL. Gone is the regular season true sports format. We're back to the Olympic model of a traditional tournament. That means there is no wiggle room. There is no margin for error. There is no, let me get a quick finish and secure 6 points, and that'll help me survive the regular season and qualify for the playoffs. It is boiled down to one simple formula: win and advance. Stay alive, survive, and move on to the next round. We've assembled talent from all over the world, elite competitors, all with one goal in mind: a tournament championship in 2025.
It's a new era for the Professional Fighters League, and as the 2025 PFL World Tournament makes its highly anticipated debut, the stakes and numbers have never been greater. 64 of the world's most dangerous fighters from 25 nations across 8 weight classes face the toughest tests of their careers, with one shot to win $20 million in total prize money in a single elimination world tournament. 15 former world champions, 37 regional champs, 25 PFL newcomers, and 4 undefeated prospects headline a group of fighters with over 650 years of combined fight experience, boasting 980 total career wins, 349 knockouts, and 265 submissions that account for 614 total highlight reel finishes. And it's all being broadcast live on the world's largest stage in over 190 countries to 1.2 billion households around the globe. Welcome to the 2025 PFL World Tournament.
You can see 25 nations represented on the roster this year. It truly is a world tournament. North America, Europe, Oceania, South America, Africa. We could not find a penguin to fight out of Antarctica. Everyone else is represented. And I told you there's no margin for error. These fighters have one shot.
Mean max effort from the first minute of the tournament till the end of the tournament.
One shot. For me, that means everything. This is all leading up to this point, this will change my life.
One shot means to me, you get one chance. You get one chance to be world champ. You have to put 3 fights together. You have to be dominant each performance, leave no doubt in any of the judges. And I plan on doing that. I plan on showing that every single time I step in there.
You only have one shot. This tournament means that when I win, I am the best, and that I can be the best, and that I will be the best.
One shot to me means one shot to grab an opportunity by the cojones and make it come true. One shot to me means one shot to change your life. You know, one shot to me can mean one shot to snatch that opportunity out of someone's hand, you know, and for me, I'm going to capitalize on my one shot starting this Thursday, April 3rd, Orlando, Florida.
Here's what the schedule looks like for 2025. First round action here in Orlando. 3 weeks in April and that first Thursday in May. Then we go to the semifinals in June. That's a pretty quick turnaround. Nashville, Wichita, and Chicago. The finals will take place in August. Atlantic City, Charlotte, Hollywood, Florida. That's about 5 months, 3 fights, 1 shot for glory. Sean O'Connell beside the PFL Smart Cage, along with the legend, Randy Couture, and the outlaw, Dan Hardy. Happy to be back with you guys.
Happy to be back with you as well.
Let's get this thing started. Randy, you've spent a lot of time fighting in the tournament formats, a lot of time wrestling before you came into the world of mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
What do you think of the change?
Man, I like it. Obviously, as if it wasn't tough enough with the format that we had in the regular season, the playoff, and the championship. Now we're fighting 3 times in 5 months with no other option. No redemption here. You get 1 shot at this. If that doesn't raise the stakes, I don't know what will.
Yeah, and it's just so much easier for the fans and for the fighters. They know exactly what they've got to deal with. One person at a time, beat that person, move on to the next round, chase that $500,000.
Welterweights and featherweights tonight. Let's take a look at our welterweight bracket as we get the world tournament started in Orlando. Jason Jackson, Andre Korshkov in the main event. Let's talk about these other fights. Giannis Bashar versus Masayuki Kikuiri. Those are 2 guys making their PFL debuts. Joseph Luciano came in on very short notice to take on Logan Storley. He thought he was going to be an alternate. Now he's got a shot at glory. Thad Jean versus Muhammad Barkamov. That's 2 high-level guys. Thad Jean, much less experienced, but he's the bigger welterweight. And, of course, the main event. Let's talk about Jason Jackson, former Bellator champ. Randy, he had gold around his waist not so long ago. He's desperate to feel that again.
Very, very well-rounded fighter. You feel the passion and emotion that comes out of Jason Jackson when you talk to him. You see that when you see him in his home country of Jamaica and raising the bar for a lot of other Jamaicans. If I can do this, you can do this too. It's pretty impressive and pretty amazing, and he wants that gold belt wrapped around his waist this year.
I told you not so long ago, gold around his waist. In fact, he won the PFL versus Bellator champs versus champs belt as well. That's why you see him walking around with that beautiful gold ring. And look at who he beat to make this happen for himself. The resume for Jason Jackson. Yaroslav Amosov, that's who he beat for the Bellator championship. He beat Ray Cooper III in champs versus champs. Benson Henderson took him out in the UFC, and now he's trying to do it against this Siberian assassin. Andre Korshkov, also a former Bellator welterweight champion, and one of the most creative strikers in the game, Dan Hardy.
And a very well-rounded fighter as well, just like Jason Jackson. We know he's got wrestling to back up his striking skills. That's why he's able to throw these flamboyant techniques, spinning kicks, flying knees. He's a very, very dangerous fighter. And spinning techniques was a real topic of conversation in the fighter interviews. Jason Jackson is very aware of how dangerous he is.
Yeah, Jason says he's ready for the spinning tactics. He wants to make Korshkov tired and force Korshkov to wrestle him. It's going to be interesting to see if he can pull that off.
By the way, you see those records held by Andre Korshkov in Bellator? Most wins, most knockouts. Jeez. Let's look at our featherweight bracket. Kelly versus Kim. Nathan Kelly out of Ireland, Taekyun Kim out of Korea. Both of these guys young, very inexperienced relative to some of the others in this bracket, but both very promising early in their careers. Kennedy versus Khaibulaev. Khaibulaev, a former champion in this weight class in the PFL Smart Cage. Gabriel Braga burst onto the scene just a couple years ago, still waiting for his first chance at a championship. And how about this man, Jesus Pinedo? That's the one who kept Braga from a championship. 2023 PFL featherweight champion, maybe the hardest hitting 145er on the planet.
He may well be, and I'm so glad to see him back in action as well. We missed him last year. He would have been a great addition to the last year's fights, but this year we get to see him back. We get to see him against Adam Boric, who's another excellent striker, got a great Muay Thai skill set, but the intensity that Pinedo brings to the cage is something that Boric is going to have to deal with in that first round.
It's been a bit of a layoff for Pinedo. Boric has stayed active. He was a longtime contender in Bellator and incredibly experienced, very well-rounded. What's the key for Adam Boric out of Hungary?
Very, very well-rounded fighter indeed, and a great striker with good power. Going to be interesting. Here's another guy that wants to raise the bar for his country. Not a lot of MMA guys coming out of Hungary, just like Jason Jackson wants to do for Jamaica. Adam Boric wants to make it known that anybody can do this, what he's doing in MMA right now, and stepping up in Hungary as well. He's got a great striking pedigree. A lot of great wrestlers come out of Hungary. I've run into a few of those, so he's a well-rounded fighter.
That's the face-off from weigh-ins yesterday. A lot of intensity for this featherweight co-main event matchup. Okay, so we've got Randy Couture, we've got Dan Hardy, I'm Sean O'Connell. We got a whole new crew. Jonathan Coachman is here. He's actually in the building with us at Universal. Coach, it's such a pleasure to be in person with my guy.
I cannot tell you, Sean, how excited. When I found out and I heard you say on social media a couple of months ago that everything's changed, and I said, I can't stay at home anymore. I got to get here. So this week, Sean, I showed up as early as I possibly could on Monday. I kind of wanted to sit down with a lot of the fighters to get inside their mind as they did their final preparation, the face-offs. They've been all over Orlando. And I let all the fighters know that we're going to lean into the fighters who lean into themselves, entertaining inside the smart cage, but entertaining outside of the smart cage. One man who embodies that personality, embodies the confidence, is one half of our main event. Of course, I'm talking about Jason Jackson. Now, in our PFL confessionals, something new this year, he talked about winning the whole damn thing.
One shot and you're down. One shot and you're home. One shot, you're the winner. You're the champion. So one shot is everything to me.
Jason Jackson's resume, it doesn't get much better at 170 than this. He understands that he has faced some of the biggest and best fighters at his weight class in the world. Now, he's been everywhere and he's talked to everybody. Now, someone who has more on one half of our main event, another new member of our broadcast team this year at the PFL, Kennedy Smith. Kennedy, good evening and welcome.
Fans, this World Tournament is all about bringing you guys closer to the action than ever before. The tournament bracket gives you a chance to follow your favorite athletes as they rise to the top. Now, we've been given a treat because we have all access to Jason Jackson as he's been getting ready for tonight's fight. We had cameras on him last night and all day today. We've got a clip right here of him getting dinner with his team. Looks like his pre-fight meal is some pasta. You know, you got a carbo load for a big fight. We're going to be showing you guys clips of Jason and his crew all day long. So you're going to be getting all the access there is, and we're going to be following your favorite fighters all throughout the World Tournament. So make sure you guys are stayed tuned. Coach.
Kennedy, thank you very much, and look who it is. Finally, the world is right. Star power here at the PFL in person. My main man, my partner, my guy from ESPN, the best betting analyst in the world, and also one of the greatest MMA minds in the world. So we've got a brand new segment this year with you called Lock It In, and everybody talks about Parker's Parlay, but how excited are you now to be here in person this year to really see it up close?
Coach, it's a whole different ball game being here, being on site. And look, the Lock It In, the Parker's Parlay, all matters if we get to the pay window. Let's go with Jason Jackson to win, Gabriel Braga and Mobid Habulayev. Look, the odds here, you're either going to get plus 100 all the way to minus 110. Even if it's a chalky parlay, I think all three win clean, and we meet at the pay window.
When you talk about your handicapping, these are all fighters. This is the first night of this World Tournament. Does that scare you at all?
Not with these guys. We've seen all three fighters between being in Bellator and the PFL. Habulayev, we know what he's capable of. Braga has stood the test against the best. And look, Jason Jackson, I truly believe he's that ass-kicking machine that he calls himself, and I think tonight he shows it.
Now, there's a lot of people out there, they say, hey, Coach Ian, give me a little more juice. Give me a little more cash. So we want to go long shot parlay. So you got to get very specific. Get specific with me, Ian Parker.
Let's do it. Jason Jackson, although he might kick some ass tonight, I think he wins by decision. Koreshkov, very tough, good on the feet, durable fighter. Gabriel Braga, I think he takes care of the fighter coming on short notice. No disrespect to Duprat, but Braga's on a different level. He wins by knockout. Last but not least, the underdog from Ireland, Nathan Kelly. If he gets to the ground, look for that rare naked choke. I'll be even going super specific with the submission, but to get it done by sub.
Yeah, very first fight at 8 o'clock Eastern time. That's specific. This should be great because he looked good yesterday at weigh-ins.
He looked great, and listen, his last fight he did lose, but he lost to one of Khabib Nurmagomedov's guys. Everyone loses to one of Khabib Nurmagomedov's guys. Prior to that was on a really good fight streak, well-rounded, good prospect. I think he gets back to his winning ways tonight.
Now, there's a lot of you out there that may not like to bet a parlay, so we're going to give you the betting rundown, a premium pick, and some other best bets. Ian, what do we got?
Let's start off with the premium play. This is my favorite play of the night. Jason Jackson to win in over 2.5 rounds. But, Coach, if you want to spend a little bit more on that juice, you can go over 1.5. You're just going to pay a little bit more. Jesus Pinedo, he's back. I think he gets it done against Adam Boric. We're going to go with Kikuri to win. And last but not least, we're going to go for Hakimov and Fat Gene over 1.5 rounds. I think that fight is going to be very competitive. Go all three, and I'm excited for it.
Now, Ian's going to be here all night. We're going to be sitting cage side. We're going to be giving you our best bets. Live betting is a big thing, so stick around. Don't go anywhere, and don't go to catering, all right? Now, he mentioned Thad Gene, a bright up-and-coming superstar, homegrown here in the PFL. And this week, I sat down with him in coaches' conversations, and to say he is confident, well, that would be an understatement.
Your style is so incredibly exciting. You have 5 finishes in your 8 career wins. And to me, even though there's no more bonus points and it's a tournament now, you understand that the more exciting you are, the more people like myself can elevate you.
I love the entertainment business just as much as the next guy. We have to understand that entertainment business is to entertain. Nobody wants to see someone going into the cage and completely be boring the entire time. So I like to put on a show, and the best way to put on a show is to be active, to do stuff, to knock people out.
That Gene finishes with an uppercut!
It's going to be a staple every time I go into the cage because people want to come back and see that. People want to see, oh, damn, that's fighting? I gotta go see it, you know? I want people to get on the Silverback Nation train. Like, I'm Silverback, there's a nation behind me, and we're going for everything.
We're drawing a line in the sand this year with the PFL. We're not looking back anymore, we're only looking forward. And the one thing that I want is for fighters to be here as homegrown stars. And you're a guy who we can build off of.
That's why I'm here. That I will be the breakout star, that I will be the McGregor of this promotion. They will realize, hey, we got a superstar right here that we can introduce to the world, and the world will get behind. And let's have some more homegrown superstars.
This kid is a betting favorite tonight. He's an absolute superstar in the making. You look at his resume, career record 8-0, 5 total finishes. He turned pro 4 years ago in 2021. Now, when you have some of the best minds in all of MMA at your disposal in the PFL, you need to tap into that knowledge. We have a brand new segment this year called the PFL Roundtable. We're going to bring in the voice of the PFL, of course, Sean O'Connell, and the great one, Randy Couture. Now, Sean, I'm going to start with you because you won the $1 million season previously in your career. How does this differ from what fighters have known in years past?
Well, it differs in a couple of really important ways, Coach. The win or go home, the no margin for error. I was unfortunate enough to take a loss in my first season, but because I had enough points in the old format, I advanced to the playoffs and eventually fought my way to a championship. In this format, one loss means you're done until next year's tournament. You do not get to redeem yourself the way that I was able to, the way that Ray Cooper was able to in an ensuing season. I mean, we've had some champions that have sustained a loss in the regular season and then moved on to wear the belt. That is no longer possible. It is the Olympic format, it is March Madness, it is single elimination. That's the most important difference with this new change. And of course, Also, this is 3 fights in 5 months instead of 5 fights in about 7 months. So while the workload is a little bit different, Randy, the turnaround is just as quick.
Yeah, it is. You're going to be fighting every 8 weeks. You better front load your camps, manage the injuries, stay mentally focused for that entire time, and bring your A game every single time, because you've got one shot and one shot only.
Now, we know in a lot of sports, but especially here in MMA, guys, there is no substitute for experience, and Jason Jackson has a ton of it. Randy, I'm going to start with you on this one. How do you think that experience will help Jason Jackson, not just tonight, but potentially over the course of the next 5 months?
I think experience is everything in this sport. The combative sports in general, the average age is 29 years old because of that. It's not a young man's game. It is a sport of experience. All those losses and those setbacks and learning to put the proper frame around those, Jason Jackson has that in spades. He's faced that fire. He's had to be in that refiner's fire and reforge himself to come back and be better, to win another title, to put that strap around his waist again. And that's exactly the mission he's on this season in the Global Championship.
Coach, of course Randy Couture is saying this is not a young man's game, because he's the ultimate badass old guy in the history of mixed martial arts. Look, experience is important for Jason Jackson. It's especially important tonight because Andrei Koreshkov, every bit as experienced at an incredibly high level. You saw all those records we showed you that Koreshkov holds in Bellator. This is a guy who's not only a winning machine, he is a finishing machine. It's going to take every bit of Jason Jackson's fight experience and the incredible IQ he's displayed, and also the camp that he represents, full of guys that were absolute killers. It's going to take all of that rolled into one to beat somebody like Andrei Koreshkov.
Now, I can tell you guys that all the fighters really came in ready. I thought they were mentally very, very focused. But then you have fights next week, the week after that, then 2 weeks after that. Sean, how do you think, if at all, there's an advantage for the featherweights and the welterweights to be the first out of the blocks?
You know, you get to be the tone setter, but ultimately, you're still going to have an incredibly quick turnaround. You got, what, about 10 weeks until your semifinal fight if you win, and then right after that, you got another 7 or 8 weeks before you got to fight for the tournament championship. So maybe there's a tiny advantage with the extra week of rest, potentially, but it's not enough to make a real difference for these guys. The advantage is in being prepared. The advantage is in being a pro and putting in continuous camp after camp after camp, eating right, icing right, resting right.
And I think that's where that experience comes in. These guys that have had that experience, like Koreshkov and Jackson, have had lots and lots of matches, lots of chances where they've gotten that combination wrong and been able to go back, look at their notes, look at their training log, fix those things, and come back and be better and be stronger for the setback. That's what that experience does.
Now, we had to sit down in the offseason and really say, what are we going to change here at the PFL? And one of those things was really sitting down with the fighters and making them understand that if you are entertaining outside of the smart cage, entertaining inside of the smart cage, that's somebody that the PFL can lean into, and we will. Sean, how do you really balance being aggressive and being entertaining, but not being reckless in your fight?
You're asking the wrong guy, Coach. I never fought intelligently in my life. But look, these guys are better than I was. And they've got to know that that quick turnaround that I keep referencing, it matters, and it matters a lot. So you have to be very intelligent with the way that you engage. You have to know exactly what kind of style your opponent's going to bring. And when you see any opportunity to get a finish and get out of there early, you're not getting paid by the hour. You have got to get this thing done as quickly as you can. Even though there's no more points, just the idea that you're eliminating the potential risk of injury or just the little bumps and the bruises, extra swelling, 10 more leg kicks in a decision fight instead of getting it done in the first round, that can change your fate in this tournament. And these guys already know that. You're going to see them fight aggressively because of it.
Yeah, I think exactly what Sean said. Again, we keep coming back to the experience thing, but these guys with 20, 30 fights have experienced those things. They've had the ankle twist, the bruises and the shins, especially with the low kicks and nowadays. But I think managing all that, staying focused, putting a proper frame around those situations, and staying positive, keeping those affirmations in your mind, and on track to go out and do exactly what you trained to do, and then being able to manage that and turn around in 10 weeks and do it again when there's all that much more riding on that next performance.
Randy, Sean, thank you guys very much. I look forward to the call coming up in just a couple of minutes at the top of the hour with Dan Hardy. Now, everybody watching at home, understand this. In a couple of minutes, we have a brand new year here in the PFL. We have met a lot. We have spent a lot of time understanding that we have a chance to change the game, to change the narrative, to change what people and fans think about this organization. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And all starts with the PFL World Tournament. But ladies and gentlemen, tonight, well, it all comes together. It's been a long week. The fighters are ready. It's time for the PFL World Tournament, and it's time right now. It's a new era for the Professional Fighters League as 64 of the world's most dangerous fighters enter MMA's toughest single elimination world tournament. 8 weight classes, 8 fighters, each all fighting for the $20 million grand prize. One shot to win, lose, and it's all over. Now, Magomed Umalatov missed weight on Wednesday, and Joseph Luciano steps up to fight Logan Storley. Jackson showed fireworks at the scale, and we were all set to start it all off. 16 warriors representing 15 nations with 5 former world champions and 1 undefeated phenom from Team Nurmagomedov. His name, Movlid Habulayev, known as the Killer, is back from injury to prove he is one of the most feared fighters in any weight class. Owner of one of the greatest instant highlights in PFL history. It was the knee heard round the world a mere 10 seconds into round 1 just a few years back. In our main event, 2 former world champions clash in the win-or-go-home battle for another shot at welterweight glory. It's the world's top 10 ranked fighting pride of Jamaica man, Jason, the ass-kicking machine Jackson, taking on sensational knockout artist with the sport's most devastating spinning kick, Andre the Spartan Koreshkov. The first round of the PFL World Tournament starts now. Could not be more excited. Now part of the PFL All Access, Jason Jackson, he was kind enough the last 24 hours to allow PFL cameras to literally follow him everywhere, to dinner, what it's like to get up in the morning, cooking your own breakfast. You gotta eat clean because you gotta be at maximum potential at night. And he is ready to go. He is just about set, and he'll be in our main event coming up tonight on ESPN2. Speaking of the TV schedule tonight, coming up in just a matter of moments, the early card, 4 big fights. Now, keep in mind, all 8 fights tonight are part of this tournament, so right from the jump, you don't want to miss that on ESPN+. Then, at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, the main card on ESPN2. The main event, of course, Koreshkov and Jason Jackson. There is the early card, and there you see kind of the main event of the early card, the superstar Thad Gene in the making, taking on Barakmov. Now, main card tonight, and this one is going to be absolutely awesome. Jeremy Kennedy, you got Luciano stepping in on short notice against Logan Storley. Then you got the co-main event, Jesus Pinedo. He has a chance to do both, win a season and then win the first ever PFL World Tournament, so he can make history. And then I'm telling you what, after the fights tonight, our first ever PFL post-fight show. I implore you to buy in with us. It's a brand new year, it's a brand new PFL, and it's a brand new everything. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the first ever PFL World Tournament. It is one shot, there is no safety net, and it all starts live from Orlando and Universal Studios. The boys are set. Let's go right now.